Comes as President Trump says the Inspector General has been asked to review them before any are made public. So let's bring in Republican Congressman Andy Biggs of Arizona, member of the House Judiciary Committee. Congressman, great to have you this morning. You obviously heard a very frustrated Devin Nunes there. Where does all of this go next, and what do we eventually get a hold of here?
Well, Devin's right to be frustrated because it has been a continual slow walk. But moving this to the Inspector General is not really where I'd like to see it, because you have to understand that as the Inspector General has done his investigations, he's been limited as well by the DOJ refusing to declassify names and information that he's been looking at. So to say we're going to have a review by the Inspector General makes me very concerned that this information is not ultimately going to get out when we need it to get out. And we've been pleading, begging, cajoling. And I think ultimately we might need to actually get back to the enforcement policies like contempt that Congress has over DOJ.
What should the American people take away from everything you just said and what we heard from Devin Nunes earlier?
I think it's consistent with what we've been saying, that somebody's covering up something. I think they need to understand that. I think they need to understand that every time the FBI and DOJ says national security issues, it's been proven to be false. They're just embarrassed by the information that comes out because they've mishandled it and they've had bias at the top levels.
Well, here's a bit more from that fired up Devin Nunes from earlier. Listen.
They continue this nonsense of look at all the people who have been busted around Donald Trump. Well, that sounds really nice, but let's not forget, this was started as a counterintelligence investigation into a political campaign. So using the people who are supposed to keep us safe, no, they were turned and used against a political opponent.
Wanted to get your reaction to that.
Well, he's right, because the biggest problem with all of this is that they're using the power, the police power of the United States to spy and prosecute for political purposes. And we just can't have that in an open and free society like we have in America. And that's where we have to put the kibosh on it. And the only way we can really get to the bottom of it is to declassify this information that we have seen indications of what's in there. We know that there's false dossiers used to spy on Americans. We've got to get to the bottom of that.
Well, the president back in this morning with this tweet. I met with the DOJ concerning the declassification of various unredacted documents. They agreed to release them, but stated that so doing may have a perceived negative impact on the Russia probe. Also, key allies called to ask not to release. Therefore, the Inspector General has been asked to review these documents on an expedited basis. I believe he will move quickly on this and hopefully other things which he is looking at. In the end, I can always declassify it if it proves necessary. Speed is very important to me and everyone. That was the president this morning, Congressman.
Right. Yeah, I saw that tweet, and I was concerned because it sounds like DOJ is again making these claims of we have to be protected, you know, and that's a problem. And it gets back to the Inspector General, who's a great guy, and I've come to know him a little bit, and I trust him. But even he was routed out of the declassification when he was doing his investigation before, and so I'm not sure you actually get to the bottom of it. We need these declassified. We need it done immediately, and we need the transparency that will come with that, so we can get to the bottom of the corruption at the highest levels of our police states.
And real quickly, before I let you go, if and when we finally do see them unredacted, what will it tell us?
It's going to tell us that they used a false dossier. They got information that they shouldn't have got to before the FISA court. They got warrants they shouldn't have had. And it's going to show that they were abusing the power that they had for political gain.
Congressman Andy Biggs of the House Judiciary Committee. Good to have you on this morning. Thank you.
Thanks, Sandra.
Outnumbered follows us. Quick preview now with